Good afternoon. It's a great pleasure and honor to see so many of you here this morning, this afternoon, as well as joining us online. I'd like to ask that you all please remain standing for O Canada, sung by children of the African and African Descendants Friendship Club of St. Albert. Thank you so much. Please be seated. I'd like to begin by acknowledging a few folks. Minister Ron Orr, the Minister of Culture, Member Shepherd, the MLA for Edmonton Centre, who in some respects is our host this afternoon, honored guests, Mr. Cornish, Ms. Dean, those joining us online. My name is Nathan Cooper, and I am the Speaker of the Legislative Assembly of Alberta, and it's my great pleasure and honor to host the celebration today of Black History Month. This year marks the 6th year of Black History Month that it's officially been recognized by the Alberta Legislature. And in addition to remarks on behalf of the Premier, which will be delivered by Minister Orr, the Leader of the Opposition, which will be delivered by MLA Shepherd, we are very pleased to have a prominent guest speaker. He's number 9 in your program, but number 1 in your heart, John Cornish, the president of the Calgary Black Chamber of Commerce and former CFL running back. We're very pleased to have John and his wife joining us today for the ceremony. We are also going to be blessed today with some performances by artist O.G. Jonah and Rewo Agar, who are both here with us today. So it's great to have you all. It's a real honor and pleasure. And in fact, one of my favorite things to do as the Speaker of the Legislative Assembly is to be able to invite Albertans into Albertans House and share in many of the things that we all hold dear together. The theme for this year's celebration is the rise and empowerment of Black business owners and entrepreneurs in Alberta. It is vital that we recognize the significant contributions of Black and BIOC business owners and entrepreneurs to Alberta's economy. Every day, this community works to bring about change in their own lives and in the lives of others. They create jobs not only for themselves, but for their community. They struggle with lived experiences and roadblocks that many of their non-Black counterparts will never face. Black business owners and entrepreneurs should be celebrated and supported for their creativity, perseverance, and hard work. As many of you know, Alberta's earliest cultural history includes the story of Black settlers. Some arrived in the province as early as the 1870s as fur traders and cowboys. Approximately 1,000 Black settlers came here from the southern United States between 1908 and 1911. These early settlers showed immeasurable courage to face the unknown, fueled by the determination to build a life free of prejudice, discrimination for themselves and for their descendants. This is why And this is what Black History Month honors and celebrates. Well, they came for a life free of prejudice and discrimination, of course, and unfortunately and sadly, many experienced just that. But today is also about looking forward to the contribution and the accomplishments and the achievements of Black people in Alberta's history, that they've created a strong foundation that enables future generations to grow and to thrive in our province and beyond. Black History Month uplifts the voices of current and future leaders of the African and Afro-Caribbean descendants so that they can be inspired to continue to build upon the solid foundations laid by previous generations. It is our duty as Albertans and as Canadians to continue to work towards overcoming racial injustice, to social inequities, and look ahead to the future that can be free from racial injustice and social inequities that disproportionately impact Black Albertans, Black Canadians. It is my great pleasure to join with you today in celebrating everything that has been and rejoicing in what can be. Thank you so much for being here today, and it's my great pleasure to invite the Honourable Ron Orr, MLA for Lacombe-Panoka, and the Minister of Culture to bring greetings on behalf of the Premier.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker, so much for that great opening and introduction. Very appropriate. And thanks to all of you for joining us here today, and those of you who are online as well. Wonderful to have you able to tune in today and to be part of this, to help us celebrate Black History Month, because really we're celebrating it with you. During Black History Month, as the Speaker has said, we celebrate the achievements and the contributions of Black Albertans, past and present and future, as a way of inspiring positive change in our province. And as you know, our history is really incomplete without showcasing the distinct voices of Black Albertans. Our province in its history is filled with the stories of Black Albertans who displayed perseverance and strength that continues to inspire us, as well as stories of bravery and hope as they confronted those who contested their equality and showed that they are equal and they are a part of our culture and our society in every way. These early Black Albertans are heroes and vanguards, but at the same time, we have to remember that they're regular people trying to get by as best they could, to make a home for themselves and their families, to be part of community, and to live at peace with one another. And today, they continue to transcend adversity, are trailblazers like many who came before them, and contribute greatly to the rich cultural and economic diversity of our province. So we do celebrate the entrepreneurs and the business people of the Black community and what they contribute to our province's growth. The faith in a better tomorrow that empowered Black Albertans such as John Ware, Vernetta Nelson Anderson, Lionel Loxley Jones, Violet King Henry, is the faith that continues to drive us. That faith tells all of us actually, to keep believing in a more just world, one without racism or hate, one where all Albertans are included and respected. Alberta is home to many Black diasporas over the years, and Black Albertans continue to push boundaries in all aspects of Alberta's life and culture. From educators like Rosalind Smith, Edmonton's first Black female principal, writer and poet Titilope Sonuga, choreographer Lisa Latouche, to athletes like Graham Parker in basketball, and John Cornish, who will speak to us in a bit, football. Black Albertans continue to set unparalleled standards of excellence. And let us not forget the many contributions of Black business owners and entrepreneurs in our communities. Black-owned shops, restaurants, enterprises, tech companies serve the unique needs not only of their communities, but actually of all Albertans. And they offer a taste of their culture and they give back to the people around them and build their neighborhoods. Black-owned businesses bring diversity to our towns and cities, and they're important economic contributors and trade connections to our province. The cultural diversity brought here by the Black diasporas in all aspects of life enriches and strengthens our province. Black History Month is a time to celebrate Black cultures and to listen to and amplify the voices of Black people and to get to know them as our friends and neighbors. It's time to remember the past and, most importantly, to picture the future in all that it can and should be. As a bit of a side note, I highly recommend visiting the Violet King Henry Heritage Marker right outside the legislature building here in the Violet King Henry Plaza. After the event, as you're going out, I encourage you to stop there. I know that all of you here today are working to build a better future for Black Albertans and indeed for all Albertans. And by doing so, you help build a better province for all of us. And for that, I truly want to say thank you, and may God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ron. Appreciate your remarks. I'd now like to invite Mr. David Shepherd, MLA for Edmonton City Centre, on behalf of Her Majesty's Loyal Opposition.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Minister, honored guests. It is an absolute honor and pleasure to join all of you here today on the traditional territory of Treaty 6, land of deep significance to the Métis people. On behalf of Rachel Notley, Leader of the Official Opposition, all of my colleagues in the Alberta NDP caucus for the 6th official celebration of Black History Month here at the Alberta Legislature. We're here to recognize and celebrate the accomplishments, contributions, and lives of Black people in our province, members of our community whose stories were for too long forgotten and left untold. To proudly celebrate our cultures and traditions as part of the rich mosaic of diversity in Alberta and in Canada. And there's no shortage of Black Albertans who've made enormous contributions, who've done great things, many of whom I've had the honor of speaking of here before. Many others who perhaps are only known to their families, friends, and communities. Men and women who came here looking for freedom. Freedom from discrimination, from laws written with the express purpose of holding them down and back. Freedom to build, thrive, and own. To stake a space where they could stand proud and be respected. And they worked hard to make that happen. They traveled great distances to clear land and break ground to farm, to build homes, schools, churches, and towns. Early pioneers like John Ware and Annie Sanders. The hundreds of exodusters who founded communities like Amber Valley, Keystone, and Junkins. Today, we celebrate them. Sadly, their arrival, their presence, was enough to spark a petition from hundreds of their neighbors and fellow citizens that demanded a halt to Black immigration. A petition that did effectively end it for decades to come, but it did not end their spirit. Because as I said when I stood here last year, Black communities are resilient. As long as they've lived here on this continent, they've known what it is to fight, to navigate systems that are set against them, that were hostile to them, to make space in the margins and make use of scarce resources they were able to find and secure to not only survive, but thrive, to continue to find beauty and joy. And not only that, but to stand together to fight for the freedom they came here to find, the equality they knew they deserved. And one of the tools they used was entrepreneurship. At a time when there were few jobs available for Black Albertans outside of labor and domestic help, some struck out to work for themselves, providing goods and services to Black communities and sometimes jobs for their friends and neighbors. In the late 1800s, Annie Saunders ran no fewer than 3 businesses in and around Pincher Creek. And in 1948, Hattie Melton, a single mother, opened Hattie's Harlem Chicken Inn near downtown Edmonton, providing fine Southern food and unsegregated safe space for Black Albertans to gather and dine out, and good jobs for young Black men and women. Because the strength of Black Albertans has always been community, standing together, working together to support each other, to make their voices heard, to demand better, and build solidarity with others. And that same truth, that same determination, resilience, resourcefulness, and strength in community has supported and sustained all who've come here in the years since from the Caribbean, across Africa, and around the world. And the truth is, in that time, we've come a long way. Black voices have never been more prominent or black faces more visible in culture, workplaces, media, politics, and positions of power, and that is worth celebrating. But behind that truth lies another, that those gains have taken years of effort to accomplish, pushing at times against strong headwinds of overt and systemic racism and discrimination, deep resistance from those who held power. And some of those challenges do continue today. According to a recent survey by Abacus Data, 76% of all black entrepreneurs surveyed, folks like Hattie Mountain, said that their race makes it harder to succeed. We know black students can face greater challenges in our schools and universities in finding work when they graduate. In the past year, our communities have seen black Muslim women attacked in our streets. Ongoing disproportionate impacts from COVID-19, a continuing rise of voices of hatred, and growing tensions around some long-needed conversations on discrimination in the systems that govern our lives. This is not something we should just excuse or simply suggest it's on these individuals or communities to live with, to endure, to overcome alone. For those of us in political office looking for chances to stand for justice and freedom, we have some good opportunities right here. We have work to do. So as we celebrate the legacies of black Albertans, as we recognize all they've accomplished and continue to accomplish, let us also learn from their examples. From these men and women who knew what injustice was, who lived it daily, but continued to stand up under it. At times, yes, even challenging or questioning the law, not for themselves and their own benefit or gain, but on behalf of their sons and daughters, their friends and families. Let us consider how we can all come together and stand together to challenge ourselves to continue their work, to confront and uproot discrimination of all kinds and build a stronger, more just province for all. To be, support, and raise up the kind of leaders who will help us get that work done every month of the year. So here's to Black History Month in Alberta and a strong black future here as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, David. Really appreciate your remarks this year, as always, and it's great to have you here as a member of both the Assembly and as the community. I'd now like to welcome recording artist O.G. Jonah to do a live performance of two songs, Rebel and Star.
Thank you. My name is O.G. Jonah. I'm honored to be here. I was raised here in Alberta, so this is really a huge pleasure. Battling my demons, I got God on my squad. Been getting millions, got no time for no broad. Grew up in the streets, couldn't hold down a job. I don't want no beef, but I got rounds for the cops. Battling my demons, I got God on my squad. Been getting millions, got no time for no broad. Grew up in the streets, couldn't hold down a job. I don't want no beef, but I got rounds for the cause. Way before rap, I had racks in my denim. I can hit the plug right now, we gon' send him. Running around the globe, big dreams, I gotta get him. Everybody know me, but I swear I never met him. OG put so many people on, he need a medal. They don't give me flowers, I don't even wanna pedal. Went and went to JP, but I always been a rebel. They cannot replace me, at the top is where I settle. Top shotter, my middle name, the devil wears Prada, so I'm in Balmain. Started with $1, now VVS chains, never been one to follow. Now I'm leading the game, G at least we're playing the lane. Editing another music video when I'm on the plane. I don't complain, you and me, we ain't the same. Ice flowing in my veins, running Portland like I'm Dame. Mama says she proud of me, I came so far. Always kept it real, never switched up. Lord forgive me all them people I done sticked up. Lord forgive me all them bricks I done broke down. Yeah, battling my demons, I got God on my squad. Been getting millions, got no time for no broad. Grew up in the streets, couldn't hold down a job. I don't want no beef, but I got rounds for the cause. Way before rap, I had racks in my denim. I can hit the plug right now, he gon' send him. Running around the globe, big dreams, I gotta get them. Everybody know me, but I swear I never met him. OG put so many people on, he need a medal. They don't give me flowers, I don't even wanna pedal. Never went to JP, but I always been a rebel. They cannot replace me, at the top is where I settle. Thank you, thank you. I have one more song. Appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. This song is dedicated to my mom, who raised me and my 4 siblings here in Alberta as a single black mother and did the best she can to make sure that we were able to live the lives we needed to. Diamonds dripping hard like I'm in the deep end. I've been living large, every day's a weekend. I've been going far, ain't got time for sleeping. From on the block, moving rocks, scheming. In my city, I'm on top, used to be a demon. OG Jonah feel like Pac, started off dreaming. Used to pray for better days, now I finally see him. Bills coming in, struggling with payment. Had to make a way, so I hit the pavement. If somebody wanna play, know I keep a stainless. I ain't got too much to say, but I leave him brainless. I done built it up and I cannot lose it. Trapping wasn't enough, focused on my music. 780 on the map, they no longer clueless. Always fell asleep in class, now you are my students. I'm selling out all of my shows, instead another one. When I see my mama next time, I have a few million. Writing down my targets like a sniper, I be killing them. Started out with nothing on the south side of Edmonton. Mama raised a star, gave me everything she could, I gotta go hard. Everyone counting on me, my family large. Never dead, now I'm in charge. Mama raised a star, I don't play no defense. Diamonds dripping hard like I'm in the deep end. I've been living large, every day's a weekend. I've been going far, ain't got time for sleeping. On the block, moving rocks, scheming. In my city, I'm on top, used to be a OG Jonah feel like Pac, started off dreaming. Used to pray for better days, now I finally see him. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, speakers, ministers. God bless you all. It's my honor to be here.
Well, thank you so much, OG. It's really great to have you here. For those of you who don't know, if you're the Speaker of the Legislative Assembly, I'm sure that MLA Shepherd and MLA Orr can attest. One of the things that comes along with the job is it essentially makes you the biggest nerd in the building. And I'm also a bit of a legislative historian. And I think I can say with some confidence that OG Jonah's rap performance this afternoon is the first in Alberta's history to take place here in the Legislative Rotunda. The acoustics of the Rotunda are very good for violin. And maybe a little challenging for OG, but it was amazing. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And if you want to add that to the resume, I'm not sure who it speaks to, but you go right ahead. Next, it's my great pleasure to introduce our community speaker today. As I mentioned earlier, Mr. Cornish is a accomplished CFA, and he also is an accomplished businessman and professional athlete and one great Albertan. So if you'll help me welcome Mr. John Cornish.
Thank you, Honorable Nathan Cooper, Honorable Ronald Orr, Honorable David Shepherd, wonderful artist, OG. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So thank you for having me here today. It is inspiring to be in this building around people trying to work towards a more just society. I was invited here to talk about Black entrepreneurship. And Black entrepreneurs have seen groups like Black North, the Black Opportunity Fund, support from banks, as well as our federal government to help them grow their businesses. There's definitely an energy behind the movement to support Black entrepreneurs. The world has recognized the inequalities and the inequities present in our system, and we are working to address them. Generations of Albertans have prospered from cheap land and inherited wealth, but this isn't always the case with Black entrepreneurs. I applaud my fellow Black entrepreneurs for stepping into business ownership and challenging the status quo, and we have a few of them in this room. Like was mentioned earlier, Black entrepreneurs have a history in Alberta. The first Black Albertan to really challenge the status quo was John Ware. Born a slave, he is remembered for his excellent horsemanship, and he was among some of the first ranchers in Alberta, arriving in 1882 in the cattle drive from the United States. And he worked on other farms, other ranches, before going off and starting his own, which is the story of many entrepreneurs. Ware made quite the name for himself, and when he finally passed, his funeral was one of the best attended in early Alberta history. Alberta has a long history of entrepreneurs, and many who have been mentioned already today. But I'd like to mention Mary Tidland, a Calgary Black Achievement Award, Lifetime Achievement Award winner. And she was, in the 1980s, a Black woman CEO of an oil and gas company. In the oil and gas industry dominated by men, she employed over 500 people. Since then, still challenging the status quo. Through her foundation, she's gone on to create, build, and partner in over 90 projects, helping impoverished countries around the world. Like John Ware and Mary Tidland, I've been welcomed to this province, where two of the most diverse cities in Canada are located. I feel that Alberta is my home because of this welcome, and because some of the aforementioned huge steps undertaken to support diversity here. We can say we're moving in the right direction, but this doesn't mean we're there yet, because we can't tell. We need to understand how different portions of our society are succeeding and falling behind. We need to understand how medical issues like cancer and COVID have affected our populations disproportionately. Colorblind policies can actually keep us from tackling important problems. We have Black entrepreneurs, certainly, but do we have enough? We don't know. We don't have the data to back it up. I know of many Black-owned businesses and organizations which struggle to get bank accounts and credit cards. Black newcomers like accountants, dentists, doctors, and lawyers seemingly have infinite hurdles to start working here. These struggles are real, but without data, we cannot illuminate the issues surrounding being a Black business owner. We are a diverse province. Diversity in our world is more than just color. It's gender, age, sexual orientation, disability, social background, and diversity of thought. Inclusivity has become a Canadian value being taught in universities. Diversity is affirmed by our media, our leaders, and our literature as a source of strength and success. Diversity has become a defining characteristic of our country, and as our Prime Minister said, we have a responsibility to the world and to ourselves to show that inclusive strength is perfect. A force that can vanquish intolerance, radicalism, and hate. But people can forget when they say, let's celebrate diversity. What they're really saying is, let's celebrate difference. And there are challenges in this idea. This can become us versus them, and it can become easy to associate any fear, anxiety, or issue with the other. The only way to break free from this mentality is for Canadians to know and understand the diversity present in all Canadians through relationships with friends, co-workers, and neighbors. True relationships must be forged and stories exchanged. My earliest memory of this was when I was in grade 1. It was recess, and my friends just ran away from me. As you likely know, I'm pretty fast, so I caught up with them pretty quick. So I asked them, "Why are you running away from me?" And they said, "Because you are black." These kids were my age, and some of them I'm still friends with. But not everyone left those issues back in childhood. These struggles are highlighted by the issues black business owners face. Statistics on how new and racialized Canadians benefit our economy and how our society is made more dynamic by minorities and immigrants need to be collected and shared. We need to show that there is a net benefit in supporting our diverse community. Most Canadians don't focus on diversity as a challenge to be overcome or as a reality that needs to be tolerated. We focus on how diversity is a source of strength. How can we become more imaginative to make diversity in our businesses, the arts, athletics, our institutions more successful? How can we best as Canadians influence the world to embrace diversity and to be more tolerant and to listen more carefully? We still have a lot to learn, and we can start with the collection of race-based data everywhere we can. Black History Month, while it is just a month, is not the only time for us to recognize the struggles that black people face here in Alberta. Just based on the little race-based data we have, in Calgary, the average black person makes $20,000 less than another person working the same job. Child poverty in the black population is 3 times higher than the norm. And when it comes to students, something near and dear to my heart, while most black students believe they can finish university, only some believe they have the financial support to do so. I, with the Calgary Black Chambers, work to address these issues, and I invite you in government to step up and increase your support, not just of black businesses, but of the black organization doing the groundwork in the community. When we talk about entrepreneurship, very often entrepreneurs start off by working for somebody else, like John Ware and Mary Tidlin. They accumulate some capital, build, network, and then go off on their own. We need to ensure that more black people have the capacity and capability to get those initial positions so they can go on to leading businesses. And this starts with our education system. We at the Calgary Black Chambers have taken steps to provide all students, not just black, with mentorship, connecting students to companies and employers that they want to work for and people that they aspire to be like. I remember growing up in Vancouver, I had the opportunity to watch Donovan Bailey in the 1996 Olympics. I felt Donovan looked like me, and therefore was somebody I could work to emulate. Donovan won Canada's top athlete as the Lou Marsh Trophy winner and helped me believe I could too. We need to find ways to support the diverse peoples on their paths to join boards and win executive roles. We need more black entrepreneurs so younger students and university students can see them succeeding and strive to imitate their success. The support we've recently received is a great starting point. The Canadian government recognized the need to do something, so they started the National Ecosystem Fund, the Black Entrepreneurship Loan Fund, and the Black Entrepreneurship Knowledge Hub. These are the first steps in properly supporting the black people to be the business leaders and entrepreneurs that we see in Toronto and the USA. We here in Alberta can go further, though, and do our own part in changing the status quo for black entrepreneurship here. We cannot address what we cannot measure, so let's start by collecting race-based data so we know the fulsome, honest story. From there, we will know what steps are needed to be taken to make Alberta one of the best places for black entrepreneurs and the most equal and equitable province in Canada. Thank you all so much for having me. I very much appreciate the steps which have already been taken and the steps that we'll take together to support Black people and Black entrepreneurship in Alberta. Thank you.
Thank you so much, John. It is a great pleasure to have you here today, and on behalf of all members of the Legislative Assembly, we'd like to thank you for the important work that you are doing, both personally, professionally, and at the Chamber. Next, I'm very pleased to welcome Raywar Agar, who is seated here in the rotunda today. Raywar has provided us with a pre-recorded video performance of the song Lift Every Voice.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound out as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing
Grabo, thank you. Thank you so much. That was incredibly powerful. I know that when I sing at home in the shower, that's exactly how I sound as well. You know, there's something special about bringing people into the rotunda of the legislature. And there's something special about the lyrics of that song. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. And you know, sometimes politics can be a divisive place. But events like Black History Month and the other times that we join together to celebrate the things that bring us together are what me, as the Speaker of the Legislative Assembly, brings me the most joy. You know, some of you may not know, but the Speaker largely plays a nonpartisan role in this place. And so there is a special kind of excitement that comes with us rallying around a common cause. And it's days like today and songs like that can inspire us all to lay down our partisan tools and really focus on the hope that the present has brought us. And there is not that much hope in some respects out there. In the argy-bargy of the politics of the day. But there is more that we share in common than that separate us. And I hope that joining together in celebrating all that is Black History Month is a reminder to each and every one of us of the things that unite us, the things that provide hope for a better tomorrow, and the things that can inspire us to be better Albertans, better Canadians, better moms, better dads, better friends, better brothers, better sisters. I hope that today has proved that for you today. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. It is my great pleasure to share this time with you this morning. It has certainly been impactful for me. I hope it has also been impactful for you. I would like to close by highlighting a constituent, not that I'm biased, but of Old Didsbury Three Hills, which is the constituency that I represent. And a constituent of mine partnered with a Black artist who wrote a book focusing on the history of John Ware. And I know that John has played a prominent role in today in his impact that he had in the early days of Alberta. And it, as you can see, for those of you who are joining us here, it is in sort of a superhero kind of book. And I have a number of copies here today, and if anyone joining us here in the Rotunda would like one of those, I'd be happy to provide them with you. I provide them to all sorts of kids that come to the office of the Speaker as a way to provide them with a token and a memory from being there, but also as a reminder to them that Alberta has an incredible history that has been woven together by the fabric of many. And here in the Rotunda, we have the opportunity to share and celebrate that together. May God bless you, and may God continue to bless Alberta.